know that we've ever had a personal, to the extent that this is, we'll call this personal, conversation about what happened at Houghton 1986 when I dislocated my hip, and you would tell my mom about such an accident. So in a couple minutes between the two of you, maybe just put that out there, because
this is why it's surprising she's going to allow me to call her JoAnn, because I think she hated me for a while.
I'm so embarrassed. Okay. Well, so just a smidge of a background about Donnie was that from the time he was 6 or younger, he was forever getting hurt. And it was never normal stuff. I mean, he dislocated his finger and they said, oh, we can get that put back in. And they tried and tried. We wound up in surgery over that. The doctor said, well, this only happens 1 in every 10,000 cases.
Wow.
Little things like that.
That makes him special. Special.
And then he would call at 11 o'clock at night for something. And he'd go, a mom. And I'd go, yeah, what? And I said, I know a number of times that I said, Donnie, you're either in the hospital or in jail, and it better be jail.
Jail. Tom was the only one that almost led me to jail. So
that's true. Also true.
My second, he'd go, well, I got to tell you, I just got out of the emergency room, and before he would finish, I would go, was Scott with you? Almost many times. Well, yeah.
That's a totally valid question. I get that.
That's where you'd be led right away. Sure.
Yeah.
There would probably be police and a hospital if we Scott.
But anyway, so it was a Saturday night, I think, that you hurt yourself. Friday or Saturday, I don't remember.
Sure.
Anyway, I was at home, and in our house, the only number that we had was our home was also the camp number. It would go through the switchboard, and then the switchboard would say, well, I'll connect you to, Don Purdy's house. So that happened. It was right around 6 o'clock, and it was you. and you said, Mrs. Purdy, I don't know how to tell you this, but Don's been in a very bad accident. And I just said, well, where? What? And you said, well, he was playing football. And I thought, oh. And he goes, he was in a very bad accident. He's in the ambulance, and they're taking him to the hospital, and it's really bad. And I said, Tom.
So I downplayed it.
I said, Tom, I don't want to hear this right now. I don't want to talk to you. And I hung up.
Click. Yeah.
I hung up. He called back a few minutes later and said, Mrs. Purdy, don't hang up. You have to hear me. This is really important. This is a really bad accident that he was in. And I said, Tom, and I know I was in shock because you didn't really tell me anything, but I could tell by your voice. I said, no, I said, you have to tell Mr. Purdy. And I hung up again. So this time they called. Well, in the meantime, they called me from the hospital, and they said, hello, is this Mrs. Purdy? And I said, yes. Are you Don Purdy's mother? I said, yes. And they said, well, he is here in, oh, shoot, what was the name of that hospital? Springville Hospital. He's in, and he has had a very serious injury. And I, okay, now I figure, all right, now I'm not talking to Tom anymore.
So now you're talking to someone believable.
Yeah.
And she said, do you hear me? And I said, yes. And she said, he's dislocated his hip, and he was playing football. He dislocated his hip. This is what's going to happen. These were her words. He is going to have to go into surgery. It will be 2 or 3 hours long. Then he is going to have to, then he'll be in the hospital for at least 2 weeks. And then he's going to have to go to a rehab home for up to 6 months. And I said, what? And she said, do you understand? And I said, no, I don't. And I said, she said, well, okay, I'll tell you again. And she said, and he's in, she started to tell me again. I said, wait. He's 19. Why? Oh, they wanted my permission. That's what it was. We want your permission for him to go into surgery. And I said, wait, he's 19. He can give you permission. And she said, oh, no, he can't. She said, he's in such deep shock that we can't take his word for anything. We have to have your verbal permission over the phone. And so I said, I said, yeah. And, that was that. And so now in the meantime, you're talking to Don, Don Sr., and he was home almost by the time you had finished talking to him, and we headed out for the hospital. The whole way, I remember getting out of, people are going to think I am the worst mother, but I remember getting out of the car and thinking to myself, I'm just so glad. If he's okay, I'm just so glad he didn't break his neck, because I'm going to do that for him.
Wow.
Oh, I was so shaking and so, you don't know what to say.
It's a shock. In retrospect, I probably would have handled it differently. But at 19,
you were good.
I was lucky just to have the courage to call you. So yeah, I'm gonna put an addendum on this story, which I can't not tell with this story. So after I got off 2 phone calls with you and your husband, and I'm sure I'm under stress. I'm at the hospital. I've got a clipboard because Don's birthday. This is May, and then his address. I'm like, speculator. I'm filling out like the family form at the hospital, and I'm thinking. Now, picture if this were a white big pen.
This is a great story.
I'm thinking like this. Your sister comes in the lobby, and I'm like, okay, like I already got one of them mad at me. She comes marching right over to my face and knocks that pen out of my face. And I'm like, what is going on here? And she goes, oh, I thought that was a cigarette. And I'm like, I don't smoke. It's a pen. This is too much stress.
Sorry, you took the
That's a great part of the story, though. But I mean, it was good. Don had family right there.
Yeah. Well, I apologize for Barbara.
I know. I mean, I'm sure it was a shock for her as well.
You and Amy, you drove my Pinto and her Chevette and to the hospital and made it work. I only found this stuff out afterwards, but well, thanks for sharing that. I have a few more things to record about it. But
the worst was when we got there. Your room was about 280 degrees. And it was so hot. And you had that poor man next to you whose toes kept coming off in his sock.
Well, he was the guy that smelled bad. He was the one that made the room smell bad. That wasn't me.
Wow.
No, but
okay.
Anyway, yes.
But anyway, didn't take 2 weeks in the hospital. Did not take 6 months of therapy. And I don't think there were many long-term effects, Don.
No, hardly any. I mean, just a lingering ache every once in a while that. The right one feels a little achier than the left one at times, but compared to what they put in front of me, God had his hand in that situation for sure. So
it was a miracle. But you were back to school in 24 hours.
I was there. Yeah. So
it's homecoming weekend, wasn't it?
Don, look. Well, let's wait for your thing. Let's do the.
Yeah, let's do the.
No, not quite yet for that. Let's do this. let's go back here. We're not going to get through these. You can see how hard this is, I hope, Mrs. Purdy. So, all right. But let's do this. This is the extended version.
Oh.
Just for you. So, of those questions we just went through, which question's your favorite?
I think
not for you, but for anybody else.
I like the favorite prank, and I love when I hear about how God changed you, or
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a favorite prank?
Oh, well, remember, I was there for so long, that I heard so many of them.
How about one you participated in? Any of those?
None of them were my favorites, but they were fun.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, Don's got so many prank stories to put in his next book.
I know.
And I can't wait to read the big one. Okay. So you've been watching all these podcast interviews. Talk us through your feelings. Like, you're watching it, what's going through your mind, and what are the impressions? Like, are memories coming back to you just like they do for the folks that are on these calls?
Oh my goodness, every time. Oh, all the time. And it's funny because sometimes a picture will come up and you'll say, oh, who is that person in that picture or something? And Don and I'll know, he'll know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Something and he'll go, he knows, he'll go, oh, no, they're wrong on this one.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. What's the most surprising or interesting thing that you've heard?
Oh my goodness. I can't even, all of them. I think, okay, it might not be the most surprising, but like when each one, I think we both take something away from each one. I never knew Roald and Carl really, because I didn't have that much to do with the music.
Music, right? Whatever. Sure.
Well, you saw them come through from your vantage point.
Well, I knew who they were.
But
they were servers.
Quick, right.
I knew who they were, but I didn't know them.
Sure.
And
they're pretty awesome, right?
Oh my goodness, their podcast, it was wonderful. And then David Cruz, that was just overwhelming. And Jackie Lutz. I never really knew Jackie that well,
Okay.
because she was in
also amazing, right?
Oh, all of them. I mean, if you threw names out, then I could. I love Kim's.
Like, imagine, Tom, if there was some way to do that.
We will do that very soon.
Okay.
All right, because I want to get through these extended ones, which are just for you.
Yeah.
Who is the current musician that you obsess about? And I have a story for this one. So you think about that, and then I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to say that you said it already.
Well, she had a Springsteen phase.
Oh, I love Bruce.
Okay.
I used to love Bruce Springsteen. Now I think, what was I thinking?
Okay. Do you remember saying the following? If you took his dirty, sweaty clothes and put them into a laundry basket, I would jump in that laundry basket.
Yes.
Because that happened. Thank you. Because that happened.
I remember that. And again, I'm ashamed, but not that ashamed because I liked him a lot at the time.
That's amazing. Anybody currently that you obsess over?
No, not really. I don't think. I love.
So that was a phase.
Jimmy Buffett. I love Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett.
So
2 weeks ago, I went and saw a Jimmy Buffett tribute band up in Winchester. They were amazing.
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah.
Okay. What questions are we not asking that you wish we would ask? This is your, take us to that A level, please.
This is your window, because
this is your window.
I got the host on here for you to. I don't have to be a conduit here. He's right there.
I think it would be interesting to hear how many, because I can remember when I was on staff, it seemed like some of the kids, it'd be like on a Saturday, you'd see them with one person, and oh my gosh, you'd think that they were madly in love or something, and then the next Saturday they would be with someone else, and just like it would be interesting to know how many different
How many people they dated while they were there?
yeah.
Oh, that would be.
Because
Some of that has come out.
yeah, I know.
Some of that has come out.
Yes.
And some of it's been edited out, just so you know.
Oh.
You know who we're talking about. Those of you, and
yes, you know who you are.
Good.
That's amazing. Did you date anyone else while you were there?
The first year, I dated a little bit. When you're in the teepee, you really don't get a chance to date a lot, because then it was like you were working every night,
Yeah, that's true.
I interviewed 8 or 9 people that used to work in the teepee, and that'll be in the next book. And that was an element that we discussed, and they said just what you said. Like, we understood that was the place for where everyone gathered, and we were working, so it was kind of up for them. But
there was something about the teepee that had a huge negative to it too. If you worked on the counter, you always had someone to eat every meal with. If you worked, the teepee was one job where you never were able to go. Like every time you would go up to eat a meal, those tables were already established. People were already, so you kind of felt like you didn't really have a place in the dining hall. Very few people at that time, and for a lot of years after that, if you worked in the teepee, you never went to the dining room. You just didn't eat, or you'd eat down there. So
interesting.
Yeah,
we talked about that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to get through all the extended ones either. Who would you like us to interview next, and why?
I would. Now, this is going to sound crazy. I would love to see Tracy in the hot seat.
Yes, me too.
We've been working on that. Tom's been doing a little. I brought it up to her too.
Okay. And not just because it's family. I would love to see Dougie Schoen.
He's on the list.
Oh, cool. And Bob and or Johnny Van Wicklen, just because as a relative of theirs, I would like to know what it was like from their perspective out. Paul Hurley.
Paul Hurley.
Yes, okay. I would love for him to.
I think Jimmy's been talking to Paul. I've talked to.
He's one of the.
Cindy a little bit. Yeah.
He is one of the funniest people.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sure I could think of a whole slew more, but I.
All right.
Well,
you've done so many wonderful ones too.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole bunch. Oh, Scott.
Scott, I want to ask him about his teen director days. So bad.
No.
Okay, Don, I'm ready to do what I've prepped, but you have other things.
You keep going, because I know. Give me 2 minutes and I'll be back. I know.
Okay.
The program will not lack for having me not here for 2 minutes, because.
Well, you don't want to miss this.
Well, I'll watch it.
Okay, well, I'll do something different until we get there.
Yeah.
So,
all
right, this was the last question, and we can do this just with your mom. So, you've watched the episodes. You are mentioned, complimented, and given respect so frequently on this podcast. Give us a response to your admirers. Like, what would you say to those folks that are so appreciative of what you've done?
I think humbled hardly covers it.
Sure.
Emotional, shocked. I think mostly shocked. I
Interesting.
Yeah.
So let me dig in a little bit on. You said your first experience at camp made you want to come back, like you wanted to spend your life there.
Yeah.
Is that not a calling?
No, I don't know. I can't say that it was a calling. It was a longing.
Okay, here's how I look. Here's how I look at it, okay?
People.
Jesus says, I'm going to take your heart of stone and turn it into a heart of flesh. Okay? Meaning, our heart now is aligned with God, and our desires, when we're allowing Him to lead us, are His desires. So when you have an experience where you're like, I want to spend my life here, that's your heart's desire, that's your redeemed heart's desire. I see that as a calling.
I guess. I mean, I don't know because I've never thought of it that way. And I I think I just loved it so much. I loved the people. I grew up in New Jersey in a very non-Christian area in a big high school. And it was just so, it was like heaven, to come there. It was just like heaven. And then to raise children there, because it wasn't just raising my children in camp, it was in Speculator, where it was like sending them to a private school with the best teachers. Donnie at one time had 4 kids in his class. A huge class was 8. I mean, it was, oh my gosh. I thought, Donnie, or Tracy, you've got a big class this year.
Yeah, personalized attention from the teacher, which is fantastic. Yeah, I would encourage you to think about the desire to be there as a calling. And then maybe you're not so shocked that if you responded to God's calling, that you actually had an impact, because that's what He intended.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I'm open. I guess, it's just so, I think it's just that the response on the podcast is so overwhelming. It's just so.
Well, I mean, 45 people is a drop in the bucket of the number of people you interacted with over the years. It's like this little bit.
I think part of it, though, is that so much of it, for me more than Don, was I was still able to enjoy it. Like, he never knew. I had something that he never had. I had the staff experience. I was on staff for 4 years.
Yeah.
I absorbed it. I loved it. He's never had that. From the time
Because it was his home.
It was his job. From the time he was 14.
Yeah.
He was driving the Utica truck at 14. And he was doing, but there was one point in time when he was TP manager, personnel director, Utica truck driver, and registrar in one summer, or multiple summers.
Yeah.
And it was just like, so it was, for him, it was he never had the fun of being on staff. And that's something that I never want to see staff members at camp not have. That's why I love the pranks, because they're fun. They're not designed to hurt anyone. I mean, I believe me, I know I lived with a person who had to clean up a lot of the pranks or handle the aftermath. So I understand that they could be a nuisance.
Yep, and you started the bail.
They make memories. They were memory makers, for kids, and so that was my feeling.
Okay, let's do this. It's amazing what we can do with technology. Don gave me this idea just yesterday, and I chat GPT'd this thing in no time, which is it's amazing. I'm proud of Don's idea, proud of this thing that chat GPT did.
Proud. You should say you created this. Yeah, you could have taken so much more credit for what you're about to do.
Let's take a look at this. On this wheel is 45. There are 45 names on this wheel. And let me demonstrate this for you.
Okay.
We click here and boom, Dave Hughes. click it. It randomly picks. Now, sometimes it does repeat names, but
Yeah.
Beth Dodds.
Oh my goodness.
So we're gonna play the roulette wheel.
Okay.
And what we're gonna ask you to do is
Give
tell us a story about that person or your impressions from that interview or anything you want to share related to that person. Okay.
Okay.
Let's do a 2-minute to the extent that we can, so we can. Yeah.
We'll time box this a little bit. All right.
Okay.
Here we go. This is our first person. Who's it going to be?
This is awesome.
Kim Hawks Pasquini. One of my.
I love her. Okay. Kim Book, 2 minutes. Okay. I didn't know her that well when she was on staff. She was music. But I became Facebook friends with her. And the other thing was one of the trips that we took to Hong Kong, that camp took to Hong Kong, her parents were on it.
Oh, nice.
And it was wonderful. They were so much fun. Those trips were wonderful. And we got to know them very, very well. And I understand why Kim loves them so much. But with Kim, another thing she did was on Facebook, there were at least 2 different times, probably more, when for some reason I put a picture up or something. And one of them was, I think Donnie and Amy were here, and I had jumped off the boat, and it was early in July, freezing. The water was freezing. And I was in the boat and I'm waving, and Amy or someone took a picture and I'm waving, and now I'm thinking, okay, I'm freezing to death. You can come and get me now. And so but that's the picture. And on Facebook, the next time I look, there's me doing the exact same picture, but there's a shark coming up behind.
I remember. That's funny. Yeah. There's some artistic ability, which I'm about. That would be a scoop.
I love her.
I've been talking to Kim about a future project that everyone's going to see soon. Good call. Yeah. All right.
Let's spin the wheel again.
Tom, I love the buoy, the point well taken in there. I'll leave it to you. All right.
Jen Thompson McGuigan.
All right, Jen.
Okay. Jen, I've been dying to say this. So from what you saw on the podcast with Jen.
She's hilarious.
Yes.
When she says, we broke up, I lost it.
Well, she was just like that when she was little. She was the most precocious little girl. She would say anything to anyone at any time. She had zero filter. When this happened, she must have been five or six. And Marilyn had taken over the job of dining room hostess. And it was either her first year or her second year. And she was still feeling her way around it. And it was a Sunday. It was after church. And now it's very much more casual in church. I mean, in Sunday church than it was then. People at that time dressed up like they were going to church, even at camp. So Marilyn and I were talking. Marilyn was a good friend, and it was after church, and she and I were standing on the road, and people were going back and forth walking and everything. Yeah, you know how crowded it got at the bottom of church when it got lets out on Sunday.
When we were driving that Jeep, Tom, it was like parting the Red Sea. We have food to take to,
So Marilyn was talking to me, and this very lovely lady came up to her, and she was all dressed up. She had this very pretty outfit on, very, very pretty pink outfit on. And she said to Marilyn, Mrs. Thompson, we're here, and I have a question about where you have us seated in the dining hall. And I'm just wondering and I don't know if she wanted to have more people sit with her, or if she wanted her table changed. She wanted her table changed or some change made with it. So Marilyn's listening, and she's taking it down, and she's very serious and stuff. And all of a sudden, Jen comes running up. She goes, Mom. And Marilyn goes, okay, just a second. I'm talking to this lady for a second. Jen turns around and looks at her, and she looks at her and she goes, "Pink, Pink, you stink." And Marilyn made the horrible mistake of saying, "What?
What? Say it again.
You stink."
Oh my God.
Ran away. Marilyn's standing there and she's going, and I'm thinking, I'm just so glad it wasn't Tracy or Donnie. I don't know what to do with myself. And the lady was so gracious. And she goes, "I take it that's your daughter." Marilyn goes, yeah, but it was just this, just pink, you stink.
Jen Thompson, that is amazing.
And I love you, Jen.
Yes. All right, let's go again here.
Tom, this is great.
Here we go.
Oh,
Andy Clancy.
Oh.
All right.
Okay. I know I sound like a broken record, but I go, oh, I just love him. But I do just love him. And it's such a wonderful, he's got a wonderful family. His family was a wonderful family. And I do remember one time, though, when I wanted to just.
I think I know where this is going.
Yeah, I did. I just.
We talked about this, yeah.
It was New Year's Eve, and he had come up with a bunch of other kids and staff people, and I think it was Scott and Tracy, you, Donnie, Andy, Tom Weisberg,
Tom Weisberg,
and maybe Jay Briggs.
Probably in the mix there, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and it was New Year's Eve now. And dangerous on the lake because you have, first of all, the lake isn't always that hard, solid frozen by New Year's because, it freezes over 18th, 20th, something like that. But I didn't know this. But all of a sudden, I forget, I'm trying to think of how I found out. I think you came and told me. But it was getting to be, it was around like 1:00 in the morning and you weren't home. Nobody was home or nobody had come back yet, but I knew that you'd all gone somewhere together. Come to find out that at midnight, a bunch of you had walked out to the island.
We talked about this, Don. Did we talk about it?
We did. The day was just getting started. Basically, the year was just getting started. Yeah.
Walked out to the island and no one knew that you'd gone. You never told anybody that you'd gone. And when you came back and told me, I think I went through the roof. I do. I think I subdivided and 4 of me got furious. And I was so mad. I was mad at all of you, every single one.
Well, Scott was there, he said, so naturally he was.
I knew he was there. I knew he was there.
Position right there. He was around. Yeah, it was Scott's idea.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Andy was there. I remember. Yeah,
that was something I dearly remember Andy about. I will tell you this too. Andy's brothers, when
Keith and
oh my gosh. I can't remember the other one's name. I love them. But when Joel Sonnenberg came the first time, they spearheaded the most amazing thing. And they, through the staff, and you got to remember, this was back in the, probably, I think the early 80s, late 70s or early 80s when Joel had his accident. And they spearheaded collecting a love gift for the Sonnenbergs.
Wow. Yeah.
And they got $800 from staff kids.
Yeah, who
made next to nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean, it made life, the Sonnenbergs they just couldn't get over it, I mean, but that's what I remember. Keith claimed. I think it was Keith in particular who started it. Yeah, they were wonderful. I love them.
All right, let's do one or two more here.
Yeah, let it rip, Tom.
All right, let's go again here.
Oh, Beth. Now I never really knew Beth.
Yeah.
Because, I really didn't know anybody too much down at the point, except that when Beth would come up to get food, I looked at this, it was like a miniature person.
Yeah, she was small. Yeah.
And I know that in the kitchen, especially the first few times in the kitchen, that would go, would they have that little girl coming to get carry down those big things of food? And maybe they said it once, but they didn't ever have to do it again because she handled everything.
She did.
She earned.
She brought.
So impressed with her.
I've loved reconnecting with her, Tom, in the group text with Don Miller and Jimmy, and man, that podcast was special. Oh, let's talk with Jim Rumsey. Oh,
Jim Rumsey.
Yeah.
What in the world do I say about Jim Rumsey? Jim and Carol. But it was funny because when you first mentioned doing this, and a couple of weeks ago, and Don and I were in Pizza Palooza having lunch or lunch, and he said, I said, Don, if you got asked this question, what would you say was an incident in camp that it upset your world so much, it turned your world upside down, and it was just overwhelming. And he thought for a minute, and he just said, oh, I know. When the minister died, when the minister drowned off the front dock. And I said, that was the one that I had too. And Jim handled that. So I remember, I know he was in shock. And afterwards, we were so worried about him. Don was very worried about him. But when the doctor came down, they literally, Jim was doing mouth to mouth, and they literally had to tear Jim off of him. He couldn't stop. He couldn't, he said, I knew he was gone, but he said, I just couldn't stop. And that was the particular incident, not a fun one. Another one though, that is very, with Jim, was you and a whole bunch of your friends. And at the time it was Timmy Strube, Karen Thompson, a bunch of like the youth group there. And Jim would take you to, and I can't remember if it was Christine or August, but Karen Strube she was allergic to the lake water. I think it's because there was so much pollen in it. We didn't know, but she would not go in the water. She might have been afraid of going over the falls too or something, but she would get this rash all over if she went in the water in the lake. So she stayed up on the rocks while you guys were jumping in and swimming down, and Jim was at the bottom, and you'd go under the fall. So I think it was Christine, right? Or was it Auger that you could go under?
Well, they both had falls, but yeah.
I think it was Christine for some reason. You'll recognize it. Anyway, so Karen said that, Tim would go in and he'd swim in and come out. And she was kind of like keeping tabs of who was going in, who was going under, where these falls came down. And Jim was down there, and all of a sudden she said, Jim, Donnie didn't come out. And they were looking around, and you weren't out. And so Jim went in, and you caught your foot in rocks or in tree roots or something, and Jim had to go under and work your foot loose and bring you out. Now, you all came home, And they told me, no, they just said, gee, Mrs. Purdy, that was really scary what happened to Donnie. I said, what happened to Donnie? And he said, I said, well, he got stuck under the falls with his feet in rocks or something. I'm going, I didn't know anything about it. And then Jim told me later on, he said, I've been trying to get to you to find you, to tell you. He said, it scared me to death. Scared me to death too.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that happening, which I don't really remember, which is a tribute to him that somehow I had something happen that's scary that he made seamlessly seem like nothing, or that's not surprising that he would. Yeah, so
that was just another one.
Yeah. Oh, there you
go, Donnie.
Yeah. So
well, I could click that roulette wheel all night.
Yeah,
I think we need to. We're gonna move on to some pictures.
We could use some help, huh?
Yeah, let's see if anyone can help us with these pictures here.
See another.
I think if you gonna, if you say something, then I think she'll be able to see you.
Jan?
Yes.
Here we go.
I love you, Jan. There's that laugh.
Well done.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just going to say hi and
Joe. Hey.
Oh, Uncle Joe. Oh my goodness. Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, she looks great, Donnie. You're taking good care of your mom.
Well, we try. She didn't need much help, but yeah, you too as well. So yeah, good to see you, Joe. Hang around.
I can think that looks like Jan. It can't be Jan.
I love your blinking.
And where are we calling you from?
St. Augustine, Florida.
Oh, nice.
Oh my.
we were in Massachusetts last weekend, though.
Oh, you were? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for a graduation.
University. We were at our alma mater.
Grove City.
For graduation.
No, University of Massachusetts.
Oh, Massachusetts. I'm sorry, I missed that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, hey, be careful there, Donnie.
Oh no, I was baiting you, Joe, into a Boston. No, it's not one I would win. Why would I do that?
I love it.
You've got that right.
I love it.
So Tom and Jan and Joe, you guys gotta do a quick catch up here on who's who and why we're here. So, or Mom, you can lead it. So.
All right.
Yeah. Jan is really Don's cousin, but she's my cousin as much as she's Don's cousin.
Nice.
And Carol.
That's right. That's right.
She's my cousin. Oh, I love you.
So the family,
I love you.
Angle is so
Grandma and that's Purdy, Tom. You know Tom.
Yeah. Grandma Purdy's niece, right?
Yes, right. Grandma Purdy's brother's daughter.
There we go. All right.
If you can follow that.
Yes.
Yes. I know you can.
Yeah. Oh my
God. Well, we are interviewing Don's mom for our podcast, and she just gave us a lot of her history at camp. We've laughed, we've cried a little bit. We've covered quite a bit of ground, and now we're going to look at some pictures from the past, and you guys can help us comment on these pictures.
Okay.
And Jan, we had an exchange last summer by Facebook message where you dropped a hint that you have a few stories that you recall from your staff days with Mom. So wherever you feel you want to interject with those, let her rip. This is
I bet I know one of them.
Which one? The one when you took me for my piercing of the ears?
Oh, no, I forgot that. No, I was thinking about the sales.
Well, that was definitely.
Okay. All right.
Well, we're going to let you guys go, but do not let her go away without telling you the dipping in the whipped cream up in the dining hall.
All right. Noted.
All right.
Whipped cream. There you go.
There you go.
That wasn't you, JoAnn, though. That was me.
I'm thinking I hate whipped cream, so I know that it had to be.
Well, you remember the walk-in refrigerator with the big vat.
Yes.
So every time I would walk in, I would take these 2 fingers and tip my fingers. It's no wonder I put on 22 pounds that summer, but.
Oh my gosh, I think we both did.
Well, you did the first summer. This was
first summer. It was horrifying. But I know, I do remember that with the whipped cream, Jan. That was a little weird.
Yeah. You taught me well. But.
So you were both working on the counter, and then you had access to this? Is that it?
Oh yes.
Donnie, you know the room.
I remember the
walk-in refrigerator.
For sure, yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was uncovered, and it was just enticing when you walked in.
It's irresistible.
That's
good.
JoAnn, do you want to tell the sailing story, or?
Oh gosh, you tell it, and then I'll correct if there's.
Okay, because I'm a little sketchy on the details. Okay. Was it just you and me on the Sun?
No, it was you and me and Nancy McKechnie.
Oh.
And Barbara, my sister Barbara. And didn't we have 3 of them out there? I thought Barbara, Samuel, maybe it was just the 2 of us. The two sail.
I think so.
Yeah. And
these are sailfish? What kind of these are sailboats?
These are sailfish. You know what a sailfish is? It's kind of like a flat surfboard with a paddle with a sail. And you sat literally on the edge of the flat surface when the wind would take you. But there was no wind.
No.
It looks like a surfboard with a sail on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And the boat boys said, so you all know how to sail, right? And
yeah,
we're all going, yeah. And none of us knew how to sail.
Well, my best friend had a lake, and I used to be her sailing partner. So I thought I knew.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
We got out there. It took us forever to get out behind the breakfront. And then we finally got out a little bit, and the wind and the waves did come. And as I remember, it tipped us over. And we buried the masts. It took forever for boat boys.
Well, we were laughing so hard we couldn't right the boat up. We were trying to get on the paddleboard, but it was not a pretty sight, but it was funny.
It's not easy. If you get them all the way over so the sail is pointing down, that is hard.
It was
to get them back. I've done it, but it's not easy. Yeah.
No, it was really bad. It was bad. Finally, I think we got off and walked off.
We didn't walk on water. We tried, but
it's reserved for someone special. Yes.
Yeah. It was one of those things. We will not speak of this in front of Don.
Well, he did. He might hear about this now. I think.
Oh yeah, no. He knew. He probably knew before we even were.
Oh gosh, that's something about Camp of the Woods that it amazes me. Back in the day, how I don't care where you were, news traveled without phones, without anything, and everybody knew what you were doing.
Oh yeah. You wouldn't even get back to the point of the beginning of
without people knowing.
Yeah, people already knew. They go, "Oh, are you in trouble?" Or "How did you do?" What? Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing because for the next book, I interviewed Mom. You know about this, but the folks that used to live in the trailer park, and they all were kind of like this community. They were part of camp, but they were separate from camp, and they all said that, like they all had kids that were go to the beach or do whatever. And if one of them did something wrong, the word somehow traveled and got back to the trailer park. By the time the child got home, they'd be like, "So I heard what happened." Like, how did you know? Like, it was just, it was there were no cell phones. It was just Yeah, amazing.
Amazing. Well, your grandfather had just that ability.
He had Gestapo out there.
It was like,
Yeah.
I remember one time we were up in, JoAnn, I don't think you were there, but I remember they served bologna on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and there were these pieces of bologna that were about like that. And the dish room got into a bologna fight with the counter girls, and they're sending these pieces of bologna back and forth, the whole thing, like frisbees. And we're standing there. I'm standing there looking at it happening, thinking, I think I was in charge. I thought, how am I going to stop this? Because and all of a sudden it got dead silent. And standing in the door, up the stairs, was Grandpa with a slab of bologna right in his face. One of the kids in the dish room had nailed him. He stood there, the bologna's down.
Oh gosh.
He peeled it off and he went,
"Yep,
no more." And that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
I thought all of us were fired. I really
And we had a conversation about this, about calling in, someone elder. How did you refer to Grandpa Purdy? Grandma Purdy was Aunt Ann, I presume?
Yeah, I called her for some strange reason. I called her Annie Ann. Annie Ann.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that worked. So was Grandpa?
I was always petrified of your grandfather.
Okay. Right.
I remember sitting in the private dining room, waiting for him to come in. We'd all be sitting there, and it was like just a quiet time.
Oh, yeah.
Very scary.
Yep.
So I obviously called him Uncle Gordon, but I didn't talk very much. So when I was little.
When you did, okay. So interesting. Yeah. Uncle Gordon. Yeah. Oh, sure.
Yeah, Uncle Gordon.
Okay. Wow.
Mrs. Purdy, what did you call him?
Once the kids were born, I called him Grandpa. And it was the hardest thing for me to not call him Mr. Purdy, because that's what, he was my boss before he was my father-in-law. And so, but after a while I would call him Dad. In the family situation, we would just call him Dad and Mom. Okay. But then once the kids are born, calling him Grandpa, it was Grandpa this, Grandpa that.
It was communal, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Well,
great.
So yeah, Tom, what do you got teed up here?
Okay. Yeah. Let's continue on.
Jan, this is so great to have you.
Oh, yeah.
My pleasure.
I love it.
Blast from the past, definitely.
This is called Blast from the Past, and Mrs. Purdy has sent us some pictures.